Welcome back to another episode of Not Too Deep with me, your host, Grace Ann Helbig the First. Today we have Zainab Johnson on the podcast. She is an absolutely wonderful human being. She's a straight-up comedian. She is cool as heck. And one time, her mom stood up in the middle of a movie theater at Creed 2 and thought that she was actually at the boxing match. Get ready for this very fun-filled and also, I think, really thoughtful, sweet conversation episode of Not Too Deep.
Not too deep.
This episode of Not Too Deep is brought to you by our good buddies at Squarespace. Turn your great idea into a reality with Squarespace. They make it easier than ever to launch your passion project. Whether you are showcasing your work or selling products of any kind, with beautiful templates and the ability to customize just about anything, you can easily make a beautiful website all on your own. But if you do get stuck, Squarespace's 24/7 award-winning customer support is there to help. Head to squarespace.com/grace for a free trial, and when you are ready to launch, use the offer code GRACE, GRACE, to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Not too deep. Not too deep. With Grace Helbig.
Zainab, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
This is so fun. You're literally less than 24 hours off of a plane from Cancun. So thank you. Because
my pleasure.
I would not be here if I were you. I'm just being honest, so I appreciate your presence. What were you in Cancun for?
I was vacationing. A friend of mine, one of my oldest friends, it was her birthday on
that's fun.
Sunday, I believe, yeah. And the 6th, whatever day was the 6th. And she wanted to go, and normally she takes time off work and comes to visit me out here.
Okay.
And she was like, will you be around? And I was like, yeah, I think I'll be in LA. And she was like, I'm going to come for my birthday. And I was like, you sure you want to come here? Like, we'll just eat food that we know we already like.
Right.
You'll have to sit through my comedy show. It's like, are you sure that's what you want? And it's cold. I'm wearing a wool coat. This was last week. I'm like, it's cold here. And she was like, okay, let me try and book Mexico.
Let's reconsider. Maybe go a little warmer. You've been working your ass off the last couple years, but it feels like I've been stalking you, no offense, on every form of social media the last 48 hours. And you are the coolest human being to me. I love everything you're doing, and I love everything. And no offense, I'm going to say it now. 2019 is your year. I'm so excited for you. I literally cannot wait a year from now to see what's happening, because I feel like right now you're like the freshest voice, coolest human that's happening right now.
Thank you so much. I hope this time next year we're not sitting here disappointed.
Oh, I hope we're not sitting here. I hope you have a show and you're doing everything.
High hopes for her.
I hope you're way too busy for me to even DM to ask to come hang out with me. No, but that's why I'm like, you probably don't take a break. So going to Cancun must have felt a little strange.
I think because I travel so much as a comedian,
right,
you always feel like you're going somewhere, but then you realize oh, wow, I'm always working. This is not, even when you go to seemingly nice places, it's like, oh, it's my first time. How was Australia? It's like, I mean, it was great, but it's like I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
Because I was
Because you did the Melbourne Comedy Fest, right? How was that the first time that you did it?
That was my first time.
How was it for you?
It was great.
Yeah?
It was great for me. Yeah, I would like to go back. It was.
What do you notice in the differentiation between audiences, States versus a place like Australia? Do you notice any difference?
Australia's really white. I mean, that's it's like white as shit.
Yeah.
And so, but I mean, there's a lot of audiences here that can, I can find myself oftentimes in front of a very white audience in the United States too.
Yeah.
But I think just internationally, you always have to, it's a reference thing. You have to try not to be regional because they just won't even understand it. But other than that, it's like, I think because they're so white, I was like a breath of,
breath of fresh air.
Yeah, I was like their Michelle Obama for 2 whole weeks. It was amazing. Okay.
Where's your favorite place to perform in the States?
Probably New York.
Yeah, because that's where you're from, right?
Yeah. But I started comedy in LA, and I do really enjoy doing comedy in LA. I would say New York, Portland. Oh no! I'll take that back. New York and probably San Francisco, and that's kind of like the same vibe.
Okay.
Yeah, San Francisco is cool enough, and right before like the Portland and the Seattles that get so PC that it's like there's no laughter. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like, was not trying to make a fucking point. Can I curse?
You can absolutely fucking curse on this podcast.
Why? This is not a TED Talk. What are you doing? Why are you responding that way?
Well, that's so interesting to hear. I always have mixed vibes in San Francisco. It's very fun and very laid back, but it's also like too cool for me that I feel like I'm absorbed as a dork there, and they know it and I know it, and so it's just a mutual experience. But can't wait to go this weekend. Okay, you have a degree in mathematics. Is this true?
Math and education, yes.
And so you were
too, like double.
You were
whatever.
a teacher at first.
Yeah.
Okay, so talk me through the progression of going from teacher to where you are now.
Oh, it was just not even that deep. But
you're on the right podcast. Don't worry.
I was in college. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I had always been good at math. And so I just naturally went into, and I really did want to teach. Like I wanted to teach high school. I ended up teaching elementary and middle school, but I wanted to teach high school. And with high school, you have to choose a subject. Yeah, specific subject. And I was just good at math, you know. For a good while. I mean, my last year, the math got pretty advanced, and I was like, oh, this isn't fun anymore, you know? But I was already committed. And I was one of those, I think I was like, my parents went to college but never finished. And so if nothing else in my mind, it was like, I gotta finish. Yeah. Who cares what I do with this after? At least I finished. And then I started my student teaching, and the teacher that was like that lead teacher for me was asked, I believe if I'm remembering this correctly, was asked to contribute to the new math textbooks for the following year.
Oh, wow.
And so that pulled him out the classroom. And so I just was naturally like I had, my student teaching was done. I had graduated, I had passed and it was like, a natural progression to like, become like the full-time teacher. Yeah. But it was so short because the kids were great, but I was standing in the class one day and I just had an epiphany. I was like, I'm just not here for this.
Really?
Yeah.
It was nothing specific. It was just a random moment that hit you.
Yeah, I was just they were great. Like this school was like a charter school, so their parents were very much involved. Yeah. The kids on a whole, I mean, there were certain kids, of course, that I liked more than others. Sure. But for the most part. Which is the most
honest thing a teacher can say.
Yeah. I mean, I wish more people would say, I talk about how I like some of my nieces and nephews over the other ones.
Oh, 100%.
And now my siblings are all trying to guess, like, well, whose kids is she talking about? It's like, don't worry about, like, but I mean, little people, kids, they have personalities, so I get to choose whose personality I like. That's not going to dictate your test score.
Right.
But it will dictate how I feel about you and how I talk about you to my friends when I leave here. So,
but I also feel like that is like unofficial training for stand-up. I mean, you have to stand in front of a room of people that are judging you like crazy, and some of them don't want to be there and they don't know why they're there. And so I feel like that is kind of helpful for what you're doing now.
I appreciate that. I don't agree, but only because kids, I don't know what,
True.
Maybe I'm just too confident.
Maybe they're the worst audience. And now
I don't give a shit about what some little kids what I could care. So when I first moved to LA, I still, I needed to make money. And so at first I got certified to teach here. Okay. And to do substitute teaching here, it's like the places where they had a lot of availability were like in camps. I didn't know that meant jail. And so I would just go to these places and you're like, oh, I'm teaching like young, like juvenile inmates and things like that. And that was like, there were 3 of those. And I was like, oh, no, well, I took the wrong, I did the wrong thing. So I met this woman, I can't remember how, and she did this like nonprofit program that brought the arts back into the school. This was like after LAUSDs took out arts, physical education, and so she had this program. And so I started teaching 7th graders, like sort of like improv and theater. Yeah. I mean, I'm not qualified to teach that, but I did it.
Yeah.
And I would try to get them to understand. I only say I'm saying 7th graders because they were so, they would be the ones that you would be worried about because they have all these thoughts. They're very self-conscious. Yeah. They're very catty, both the boys and the girls.
Vibrating systems of insecurity.
Yes, and something is happening in their lives and they just have no control over it. And they're trying to navigate it the best way possible. And you may be you're just like a speed bump. You're just an interference in their growth, you know? And I would try to get them to understand in any situation like this is such a small part of your life.
I see your bigger picture and I wish you could see it.
Just trust me. Yeah. This is minuscule.
Yeah.
You know, compared to like what the lemons that you'll get in life. So just please, you know.
Did you ever have a specific student say anything to you that resonated that you kept with you?
No.
No follow-up questions. Got it.
But I will say this. There was this little girl in my class. There was these two kids. They were twins. And I liked the brother. He's a kid that they would say, oh, he has ADD or ADHD. But I'm like, no, he just needs more attention and he needs to always be doing some occupied.
Right.
But then his sister was a mean girl.
Oh, no.
She was a mean girl.
Oh, no.
And I couldn't say it.
Yeah.
But I used to look at the other girls like, just trust me, this is her last year. Like, just trust me in life.
She will fall down from her pedestal.
But I couldn't say it. I just had to. But I used to have these thoughts about her. Like, I don't even know who made you the popular one? Like,
when you see the dynamics and you can't figure it out. Yeah.
And you just can't even say because, you know, that's like personal.
It's not your place, but also
it's
you're
so
looking
unprofessional. It's just like, but then I saw her and her brother and their parents at like a street fair in LA, and the school, they call you by your first name, so they were like, Zainab, oh my God, that's my teacher. And I turned around like, oh, I definitely don't want to see you on a day off. You know, like I don't. And the parents looked at me like, oh, this is who you guys have been talking, like happy to see me. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, well, I guess I'm making a difference. You know?
Yeah.
Like even with my nephew, who I always say I don't like, he's like my one nephew. I'm like, I do not mess with him. We always ask him, who's like your favorite aunt or uncle? And he always says me. And I'm like, why?
Because you're the one he wants the most attention from. You're the one that's not giving it to him. And so he wants it now. Don't give them what they want. And then they'll want it more. You're one of 13.
Yes.
Siblings.
I can't take any credit for that, though. That's my mom's doing.
Oh, that's so insane to me. And I've been watching so many of your stand-up bits are so funny. I love your whole bit about statistically 2.5 of you should be gay out of 13. And you guys don't know who it is yet. Do your siblings ever watch your stand-up? Have they ever commented? Are there any like unsafe things that you can't talk about?
So far, there's not been anything off limits. Okay. But because I think whenever I talk about them, I think my intent is always to celebrate.
It sounds like,
I think they're very, I think it's all about like, well, when's my joke coming?
Yeah. When's the one that I know is about me?
Yeah, like my that gay journal joke that I did. My brother was at the Seth Meyers taping with me.
He was
that
there
particular
for
brother.
Oh.
So we're in the car riding to 30 Rock. Yeah. And I was like, so just FYI, I'm doing a joke. This about you. And he says, is it when you thought I was gay and you read my journal? And I was like, okay.
All right, so we're on the same page.
Yeah, we're on the same page. And then at the end of the taping, like the entire crew, everybody was like, because 2 of my brothers are there. It was like, who's the brother? Who's the brother? And then they pointed out, and he was like, I'm the brother. And they were like, how do you feel about that? He was like, I have many journals. But that's why I love him. He's so like
he's in on the joke,
and he's just he's unfazed. Yeah, you know, it's like if somebody he's not gay, but if somebody called him gay, he'd just be like, Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, and I just love, there's certain qualities about him that I just wish that I
Oh, that's
had.
so great.
You know?
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
And that's so great that they could be there for that taping.
Yeah.
Was that your first late night taping?
Yes.
Okay. And that was like 4 months ago, right? By the time this comes out, maybe like half a year ago.
Yeah. I think it was in September.
How was that for you?
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. And I'm so happy I was, my set was running long. Like I kept working it out.
Because I never know. I've had friends do it. I don't do stand up, so I don't know how that works in terms of like you do a full set, they edit it down. I don't know.
No, they don't edit it. Not for your late night set because it's just supposed to be like 5 minutes.
Timed out perfectly. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, if you go like 5:05 or if you go like 4:30, it's like fine. But mine was coming in. I was running it like every night, like multiple times at the Improv. It would come in like 7 minutes.
Oh, wow.
It's like, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't even think, like now the TV things that I have taped with stand up, you never even want to give them too much to edit because then you are relying on the editor
To choose what stays.
not just to choose what stays, but to have your same comedic sensibility. To you putting a lot of power
In a stranger.
It's like taking like a Picasso and saying,
crop this however you
Yeah,
want.
it's like,
and like take out whatever corner that actually might be the best and most interesting part of the art.
Yeah, exactly. Like I gave you, a 12x8, but you make it into a 4x6, whatever.
Yeah.
So, but it was fun to do.
Well, you
this
seemed unfazed if that was your first time doing it.
It was my first time doing it, and this comedian told me he had done Conan, and I was like, is there any advice? I was getting a lot of advice from different people, and everybody had different advice, but his was the one that helped me most. He was like, just have fun. He said, and bring people, which is how my brothers got there. He was like, bring people that can be in a green room that make you feel good and like will keep your mind off of it. He said, because what you have to understand about late night is you're going to go last on the show. He said, and it's an hour full of written jokes, and you're the only one that's not the celebrity.
Yeah.
So it's like Seth or whoever the host is doing written jokes by professional, and you're
just part of this system, this machine that's going no matter what.
Yeah, and those jokes are written a certain way, and then celebrities are going to come on, and so the studio audience is like, that's a celebrity. Everything they say is funny or heartfelt or whatever, and now you're last. And they don't know you and they're tired. Yeah. And so, just make sure that you have that energy before so that you could take it out there and just have a good time. And I mean, it was the best
That's
advice.
great. I mean, it worked because the whole set is great. You can find it on YouTube.
Yes.
We're going to take a break. So while we take a break, go look up her set on YouTube. It's very, very fun. And we'll be right back with Zainab Johnson on Not Your Deep.
Not too deep.
This episode of Not Too Deep is brought to you by Squarespace. Turn your dream into a reality with Squarespace. They make it easier than ever to launch your passion project, whether it's looking to start a new business, showcase your work, publish content, sell products, or more. Squarespace is the tool for you. They have beautiful templates created by world-class designers and the ability to customize just about anything with a few clicks. You can easily make a beautiful website all on your own. They also have a powerful e-commerce functionality, which lets you sell anything online, and analytics that help you grow in real time. Everything is optimized for mobile right out of the box, and there's nothing to patch or upgrade ever. Buying domains is simple, and you'll get the help you need with Squarespace's 24/7 award-winning customer support. They empower millions of people, from designers to lawyers, artists to gamers, even restaurants and gyms, to turn great ideas into something real. Head to squarespace.com/grace for a free trial, and when you are ready to launch, use the offer code GRACE, GRACE, to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. That's squarespace.com/grace. Offer code GRACE. We're back. I loved your most recent Instagram post.
My scars?
Yeah, It was a very sincere post, and I appreciated it a lot. And I wonder where you land being an extremely funny person on, like, because I struggle with going back and forth on, like, how sincere should I be online? Will it be taken seriously if I am sincere versus, like, should I make a dumb quip about whatever the fuck I'm posting? Where I really, really respected and loved the post that you put up.
Thank you.
But where do you land on that? Are you still kind of figuring that out for yourself, or do you feel like You're just going to do whatever you want when you feel like it and unabashedly put it out there.
I am going to try my best to be just more authentic.
Yeah.
And I come off like a really authentic person.
Yeah, no, you do.
It's even authentic for me to say I come off like a really.
I know, but that's what it felt like, a vulnerable post, and that's what I like the most about it.
I think that it's a big issue for me.
Sure.
And I really meant what I said because I get inspired by so many. You know how many women I follow online who show their scars daily or show that they're missing a limb or that they've beat cancer or that they. And I'm just like, she's just the best. She's just the best. But then I look at myself and I'm like, ugh.
I'm not representing myself the way that these women are.
You know?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I could totally contrive this beach photo shoot.
Sure.
And I could crop it in a way for you to see all my lady parts and for everybody to get it'll get the same amount of likes just for something different. Like, oh, you sexy. Oh, can I marry you? Oh, can you da 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 da. And it's like, for me, it's really empty because it's like, they don't know anything about me.
Right.
They don't know.
They're liking this version of me that I presented to them, and that's not actually me.
Yeah, and it's like I went to Cancun for vacation, but every moment I had to decide to reveal myself to strangers, which is not relaxing at all. Like my friend whose birthday it was just wanted to play volleyball. And my decision wasn't like, do I feel like playing volleyball or not? My decision was, do I feel like people staring at me? And do you get what I'm saying? Like that's what I had to decide. And I was just like, it's like I'm here to have fun with her on her birthday. That's so, a fucked up decision to have to make. And then it's just like.
But that's very relatable to a lot of people, I think, which is what I related to in that post. I was just like, this is so cool that you can be so funny, so confident, and then also be this version of yourself too.
Yeah.
And I loved it so much.
And I think which I really need to work on, and that was the reason why I made it public. I've posted them before.
Yeah.
I post them on my stories, like these scars is getting it, whatever. But I don't know. I just feel like it's just necessary. I feel like social media is great, but it also sucks. And we're not like true representations of ourselves.
Yeah, we're a curated version of ourselves to everyone. And we can showcase as much toxicity on our own level, or we can showcase as much of like, look how awesome seemingly my life is and I am, and I'm the most confident person in the world. But those real posts, I think, have inherently more value than any like beauty glamour shoot that you would do in a bikini on a beach anywhere.
Yeah, I got a lot of like DMs with people sharing, like sending me pictures, of either them or their children who they're concerned, like, well, as she approaches womanhood with this like scar or whatever, how will it? And I don't know if you noticed, like I don't really get sappy in my posts.
No, that's why it stood out to me so much.
It's like I'm not trying to appeal to you guys. I'm just trying to be a little bit more honest with myself. I'm just trying to really.
But by you being yourself has infinite resonation with other people that want to find someone like you to look up to, that they're like, I want to be as authentic as she's being right now. That's why I was like, this is very cool.
A couple of other people who think that I'm hilarious.
I know Tiffany Haddish likes like all of your posts, so go on.
They were like, wait, I just read the last part. You said when you get exceptionally funny, you're already exceptionally funny. And it's like, I also get exhausted in comments. So it's like, I think to respond and then I say, don't feel like it. I just don't. Because if I go down this rabbit hole with you guys, we'll be talking all day and I can't do it.
You got to create boundaries, healthy boundaries.
But the reason why I said exceptionally funny is because two reasons. One, when I first started comedy, maybe like a year and a half in, one of my brothers, I don't know if you've ever seen my trash joke, where my brother says the shit is trash anyway.
No.
He was at my house one day and I got out the shower and he was like, those are your legs? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, no, I mean, I knew, but I forgot because I don't see you often. I don't see you, undress often. And I was like, yeah. And I didn't really get self-conscious, but then right when it got a little bit like the awkward silence, he was just like, if I wasn't your brother, I'll holler at you. And it just was so, it was so funny to me, right? It's like I just died. I number one, appreciate, like it was like the hood version of a hug, right? And then it was just like, and then I just felt like he's so funny. Yeah. And I had a show that night and I went on stage and I'd say exactly what I just said to you. And I thought it would get that reaction. But everybody in the audience was like, oh,
really?
Oh. And I was like, no. It's funny.
We're good.
It's like, oh. And in the moment, I was thinking, like, is it because I'm not showing it, so they can't visualize it, and so me, like, I didn't understand where the humor failed. You know what I'm saying? And like the triumph, failed. And then when I got off stage, the woman who booked me for the show was like, "What was that?" And I was like, I mean, a set? Like, I know.
My job?
I know it didn't go as well as I hoped. But, and this was like, a year and a half and you got your 5 minutes that works, whatever. And she was like, when I book you on the show, do the set that I know.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I knew I knew two things after that. I knew I was never doing her show again. And
that she wasn't going to be your maid of honor anymore.
And I knew okay, I'm not funny enough to make this funny yet.
Oh, interesting.
And so it's kind of like a goal of mine. Like, ooh, I know that I am supremely funny when I have strangers laughing at this.
That's so
that's my mark.
Yeah. I fully get that. And I've never thought about it that way before. Yeah. That's so
that's what I meant in the post. So everybody that's like, no, girl, you so funny. It's like,
you're not asking for that kind of reinforcement. You're just, I think it's a great kind of vision board for yourself for this year to be like, this is what I'm going to do, more than like, I'm looking for sympathy right now. That's what I took the former rather than the latter from that. And I thought it was very cool. Speaking of New Year's resolutions, you wanted to take up cooking more?
Yes.
Okay, tell me about this.
I can't cook.
Okay.
But I love to eat. And I recently watched Julie and Julia or something like that.
Oh, yeah, the movie about Julia Childs.
Yeah. And not that the movie was so touching, but every time they showed what she was cooking, I was like, oh. And it's like one of the opening scenes, I almost posted it online, I probably still will. It's like Meryl Streep, it's like they come with this pan full of butter. And it's this fish that's like simmering. And I don't even really like fish like that. And then it slides off the bone. And I'm looking at it like, and I'm watching it on Netflix and I'm like, oh my God, like what? Like I want that right now. And then Meryl Streep tastes it and she's just having this whole and then her husband tastes it and then they don't even have words. She's like, it's like she doesn't even, and I'm like, what that? I want that. Like,
have you ever watched Food Network? I feel like you would have a really great time because it's that all day. I love that you had to watch a movie about Julia Childs to like seeing fish being plated.
It was like, and I was thinking, you know what I was thinking after the fact? I was like, oh, I hope that fish wasn't cold. Like, I hope that when she tasted it, she didn't have to pretend. I hope that was a true moment. I spend so much money eating out.
So are you really going to actually learn to cook this year?
I'm going to learn to cook this year. Today I was actually deciding because I went like grocery shopping and it had nowhere to start. I'm like, spice it. Like I don't need a spice until a recipe calls for a spice, you know? Yeah. Like I don't just have garlic sitting around my house. Who does that? I tell everybody who comes over my house, I have water. I ain't got no snacks for you. I don't have nothing for you. I have water. Everybody knows it. My refrigerator is bare. My refrigerator looks like I am struggling in life.
You're just a recently divorced dad.
Yeah, like my refrigerator looks crazy.
Yeah.
And I was thinking like, okay, do I buy a book? Because here's where I know I want to start.
A recipe book, yeah.
A recipe book. Or do I just go with what I'm like, have a taste for and then just Google it? Mm-hmm. But here's why. This is what's on my mind. Okay. So in that same movie.
I've never heard someone so affected by this particular film, but please go on.
Because I was thinking maybe I have to get like Italian cooking or something, but maybe because what's the other actress? Julie, I guess. Whoever. Amy Adams. Oh, okay. Yes. Amy Adams. She made this like bruschetta.
Okay.
And she was just like frying the bread and olive oil in the pan, and then she like put all like the marinated tomatoes, and I mean it like it. I was just like, and then the whoever is her love interest, I forget his name. He was on the Mindy Project. Okay, so if you need somebody to seem like they're from New York, he's that actor. Yeah. He was going to town on it like. And I was just like, I want that right now. Right now, I want that in my mouth. And so if not today, tomorrow I'm totally making that.
I'm rooting for you. I think you can do it because you basically just said out loud the whole recipe from what I can gather about bruschetta.
No, but I've had bruschetta at restaurants. It don't look like that bruschetta.
Also, those are paid actors to make it seem good.
No. Forget how he was eating it.
Just looked
You
amazing.
won't understand until you watch that movie.
I know. Okay. I gotta watch that movie.
Just those scenes. I'm just gonna send you those scenes. That's how committed I am.
I'll just YouTube those particular scenes and it'll be perfect. Well, I hope you keep us all up to date throughout the year on your Instagram, on your stories, whatever it might be, on your cooking misadventures, adventures. Okay. Here's a really fascinating question. What stand-ups in your circle do you think people are sleeping on right now?
In my circle?
Or that you just genuinely really love that you think people should know about?
One of my absolute favorite peers right now is Amir K.
Okay.
You know who that is?
No.
He just knows how to make something out of nothing every single time. He has material. He has great material. He has, some of his jokes are like, oh, I haven't seen this joke in forever. I can't wait to see this joke.
Yeah.
But he also, like, we've been in situations where everybody's bombing. And it's like, it's definitely the crowd. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
And then Amir comes on and and then he just, you know.
Amir K.
Okay. Yeah. Who else? This is so hard. No offense. I hate questions like this.
Well, we'll move on then.
No, we don't have to move on. It's like, yeah, I know, but for some reason I can't.
But it's also your friends. I get it. That you're like, I was going to ask you who's the funniest non-comedian in your life, but it sounds like it's your brother.
It's actually my mother.
Oh, really?
Oh, it's okay. So here's just a quick story.
Go for it.
We go to see Creed 2, right? Before this is Thanksgiving? Yeah, this had to be Thanksgiving, right? So I'm like, you want me to see, I'm thinking about seeing Creed 2. You want me to wait until I get to Michigan? She's like, yeah, wait for me. So we go to the movies and we're talking like through the previews and then the movie starts and my mom is still talking. I was like, oh, no, wait a second. Like, is this what you're planning on doing? And she was like, well, I'm here with you. I was like, yeah, but the movie's starting. So what we're not going to do is talk. And she was like, okay, well, I'll try. And I'm like, you'll try? So then, sorry, anybody listening that hasn't seen Creed 2, spoiler alert. At one point, have you not seen it?
I've seen it. I cried on a plane to it, yeah.
I was emotional too.
It's pretty great.
So at the point where Creed is down, right, and you kind of like, my mom stands up in the movie theater. She stands up in the movie theater and says to everyone else watching the movie, just in case we didn't know, she said, it's called Creed 2. It's called Creed. It's called Creed. Then she starts talking to Michael B. Jordan via the film. She was like, baby, get up, get up, get up, get up. Michael B. Jordan gets up and she claps and she sits down. She says, it's called Creed.
That's how amazing and immersive the film is, that your mom honestly thought she was in the crowd at that actual boxing match when it happened.
I was like,
she sounds like the greatest angel sent from heaven. I wish I was in that movie theater when that was happening. Oh my God. Okay, on that note, we're going to take one more quick break and then we're going to get into some Twitter questions. Okay. The internet wants to know a lot of wonderful things. So
I was like, do I?
We'll be right back with more Not Too Deep.
Not too deep.
This episode of Not Too Deep is brought to you by the OkCupid dating app. It's the only dating app that finds you someone based on who you are and what you're into. The OkCupid dating app asks you fun and meaningful questions that matter to you so you can be seen by the people who are going to be into you. From questions like, who would pay an extra $5 for guac? Or are you close to your family? And did you vote in the last election? You'll see tons of answers that lead to great conversations and great dates with people who feel the same way you do, or maybe not, and it's a helpful way to sift through the fat. So on and so forth. Tell people about your favorite album, get your last great trip on record, or your favorite podcasts. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And let the love roll in on the OkCupid app. Whether you're looking for that person to join you on a long walk on the beach, cliche, but get it, or a short walk to the pool bar, more my speed, they're waiting for you on the OkCupid dating app. So start your new year by meeting someone who's into you and what you're into on the OkCupid dating app. Download the free OkCupid dating app and find your next great date today.
Not too deep.
This episode of Not Too Deep is brought to you by one of our favorites, MeUndies. Valentine's Day is right around the corner. Rather than spending all that money on going out to fancy restaurants, why not just hang in your underwear, courtesy of MeUndies. That sounds kind of pervy, but also very comfortable. Made from the coveted micro-modal. Sorry, I'm so ill-informed on fabrics. The micro-modal fabric, which is 3 times softer than cotton. Get it, micro-modal. MeUndies genuinely feels like heaven against your skin. Take that in one more time. It feels like heaven against your skin. Men and women can each choose from 4 different cuts, all of which are available in classic colors and adventurous prints. Oh, guys, get ready, including new V-Day prints, which are released every Tuesday. But why stop there? This year, MeUndies is launching their V-Day prints in lounge pants and onesies as well. You heard me, onesies. Both are made from the same, get ready, micro-modal fabric as their undies. I have been sent products from this company, and I can attest to the comfort level in which I have experienced while, writhing my dirty skin on their fabrics. The micro-modal is choice. So MeUndies has a great offer for you guys, our beautiful listeners. First-time purchasers get 15% off and free shipping when you order MeUndies. It's a no-brainer. Get 15% off a pair of the most comfortable undies you will ever put on, free shipping, and 100% satisfaction guarantee when you go to MeUndies.com/grace. That's MeUndies.com/grace. Okay, we're going to get into some Twitter questions, but before we do, I'm going to ask you the 2 questions I ask every single guest that's on the podcast. And the first is, who, alive or dead, would you most want to throw cold spaghetti at?
I didn't expect that. I'm sorry. Alive or dead, I would want to throw cold spaghetti at.
Yeah, it's a very intense question.
Ooh.
We can come back to if you want to think about it for a second.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
The second question is to tell us your worst pants shitting story or close call, but you can only use 3 words or 3 small phrases. So mine is college, jogging, front lawn.
405 traffic, fuck it.
I love that you immediately have a story, because there's so many times that people don't have stories and I stop relating to them. So I love that without the spaghetti one tripped you up, but the pants shitting one without hesitation was answered immediately. And I couldn't appreciate you more for that. Thank you.
I also peed on myself twice in 2018. Neither one of those times was I drunk or had a drink at all. And And I would like to change that in 2019. So
add it. So cooking and not peeing on yourself are two resolutions this year.
Yes.
Well, speaking of embarrassing things, someone wants to know, what's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you on stage?
The most embarrassing thing that's happened to me on stage.
Or I kind of expand this to like a heckler, or like even like before or after being on stage or anything like that.
I remember once I went off on a rant or like, just started improvising, and I said something about like, like if there's a guy in a wheelchair and and of course there was a guy in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And so the crowd is like laughing, but like I see this like group of people like, and then when I got off stage, they were like, he's in a wheelchair. And then I asked him, I was like, did I offend you? And he was like, no, you were hilarious. And I was like, oh. It's always my fear to be saying some shit.
But that's nice to even care enough that that's a concern of yours.
Yeah, because it's like, I don't think I was making fun of, obviously, people in wheelchairs, but it had something to do with dating, and like what we look for, something like that. Mm-hmm. And it just... Even if I said, I want to be in a wheelchair, just that, it makes the crowd awkward.
Yeah.
Also, one time, the first time I really bombed, it was at the Comedy Store. And, it's like it was the first time I was doing like a 10-minute set, like a full set.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, they've been seeing me do these like 5 minutes or forever. I need to do some new material. And I tried this like 10-minute set, and it's like my friends came, like everybody. It was like supposed to be like a glowing moment for me. And I bombed, and everybody was like... But the worst part about it was, the host is normally like right next to the stage to come get you off. It's like when I was like, all right, guys, good night. The host was nowhere to be found. So I was like,
what? So what do you do?
Chris?
Oh, no. Just fully compounding.
Yeah, just where's the host?
Have you ever had counter to that, like an extreme fangirl moment of being on a show with someone or seeing someone at a show? Or just even being like at a party or a social setting with someone in LA that you're like, I embarrassed myself in front of this person, or I might embarrass myself in front of this person?
One show I did, Denzel Washington was in the audience.
Really?
And it was a small venue. Yeah, it was a small venue, so he wasn't far away. But I saw him as soon as I walked in. And I said, oh my God, Zainab, please just do your material. Do not just do your fucking material. Don't say shit. Don't try to, because it's like, I didn't want to like, have one of those like Freudian slips. And I was like, just say the words to your joke, please. And I got through it. And like, if I'm on stage right now, he was like off to the side.
So you're just tunnel vision, trying not to look at him the whole time.
And then there was this one girl right in the front who was just not, like everybody was laughing and she just was not like.
Oh God.
And so I was thinking like, I don't know if Denzel can see you, bitch, but laugh. Like, what are you doing?
You represent me.
Yeah.
Please.
What are you doing?
Please.
Then he came up to me after and was like, you were great. And I was like,
he did?
Yeah, he came, touched my arm and everything. Yeah. He was like, you are really talented. And in my mind, I was like, what else? Then I told my mom, and she was like, did you tell him you have a mother? I was like, no, absolutely not. No. Like, no.
That's amazing. How long ago was that?
Maybe, I'd say 4 years ago, maybe.
Oh, wow.
Maybe 4 years ago. I still had a shaved head, so
yeah.
It had to be at least 3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's so nuts, but also congrats. Great job.
I've had a few of those moments.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've had a few.
I mean, it must be kind of strange when you walk out and there's just like an A-list celebrity sitting in the audience, like a regular person. So I want to know, if you could go anywhere in the world right now, where would it be, and who would you take with you?
I would go to maybe like Egypt, see the pyramids.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd really like to do that. And this is so cliche. I would probably take my mom.
That's great.
Or,
okay, give me an or.
Or like my ex-boyfriend.
Oh, okay. Two sides of the same coin.
Like my mom would love to experience it, and my mom is like she's down for whatever she can do. She can. I just know she can hang.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then this particular ex-boyfriend, he's cool. We get along enough that I think that we would enjoy that experience together.
Good travel buddies.
We'd be good travel buddies. But like an occasional argument would break out, and it would be like nothing better than to say, like, remember when we fought at the pyramids? You know, like
you want to create tragic memories.
Remember when I had to curse your ass out at the pyramids?
Remember when I tried to book an earlier flight out of Egypt because I hated you?
That would totally happen, and then I would feel so bad. I would be like, okay, what's your connecting city? I'll just wait for you.
I'll sleep in this airport in Morocco for like 12 hours till you get here. Someone wants to know, who is your biggest stand-up inspiration?
I'd say Eddie Murphy was.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And I'd say like a couple of people, like Eddie Murphy. I definitely say Wanda Sykes. I definitely say like now I'm getting into Richard Pryor. He doesn't inspire me though, but he does provide, he motivates me, but he doesn't inspire me. Is that possible?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the most articulate way you can describe that kind of feeling.
Yeah.
Where you're like, I'm not inspired, but I am totally like ready to continue to work after hearing this person.
Yeah. And like hopefully my work will be like this work.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Or just, taken into consideration in the highest regard the way at his time that was kind of like perceived by people.
Yeah, and then Eddie Murphy was the first stand-up I ever saw.
Oh,
like,
yeah?
Raw was the first stand-up I ever saw. And although I didn't have the thought like, oh, I'm going to do comedy, it just made me realize, oh, I like being made to laugh. I like laughing in this way.
Yeah. I like this feeling.
Yeah. And then Wanda, just in my career, she is like, she's just a true, like she's a supporter.
Yeah.
Her and her business partner, they just really supportive and they give me great advice.
That's awesome.
Like, you know, like I remember I was afraid to like grow my hair back when I was thinking about it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, people know me with a shaved head now. I don't want them to not like. I don't want it to like have to put
brand.
Exactly. And then I'll never forget Wanda said, as long as what you say is impactful and as long as what's coming out your mouth is you know,
you are.
Yeah,
it
doesn't matter what you look like. She was like, because you plan on getting old, right? You plan on getting. It was like common sense,
so
you know.
Pragmatic,
it takes a person with experience to sort of tell you
you're getting hung up on the wrong things right now. That's awesome, though.
Yeah,
and that's also that's inspiring to hear someone that's just been so in this world for so long still take care and like actual like attention to people that are coming up and doing their thing. That's like very cool to hear.
And then I'm inspired by like my peers. Yeah. Like to watch us all like constantly, and some people get success and then you see people who they still do it and it's like it's not providing them the response that they're hoping and you still do it. It's like it's really inspired. Like all right, I'm gonna go again because you just went and it's not showing you no love, and so I could do this.
Yeah, no, that's very sweet. Okay, counter to this, someone wants to know what's the worst, weirdest pickup line ever used or heard. Do you get people using actual pickup lines on you?
You know what? I haven't had that in a while, but recently I was just in New York, like 2 weeks ago, and a friend of a friend. This guy, he's we're a part of this birthday group because we're celebrating my friend's birthday.
Sure.
And he comes up, but I don't know anybody except her.
Okay.
But that's fine. Like we're walking to a place, so I'm not trying to be really chatty yet, right? It's cold. It's the wintertime in New York. And he comes up to me and he was like, you seem like you don't know anybody, so I'm gonna be your friend today. And and right after he says that, he pulls this blunt that he has and he puts it. I said, okay, well, can you bring my friend after you smoke that blunt? Thank you. And he goes away and smokes, and then he comes back, and he would, you know what it was? It wasn't so much what he said. He thought he was much more charming than he is.
I fully understand. Yeah. And also, what a privilege that he gets to be your friend in this situation.
Then we sit down at this restaurant, and it's like a big group of us. And at first we're like sitting next to each other. And as soon as he turns his back, I switch seats with another girl. And he turned back around, and he was like, "What happened?" I was like,
that sounds kind of miserable. But was the rest of the night okay?
No, it was great.
Okay.
It was great. I'm so happy I didn't have to converse with him. And not even like, I have no idea if he's a nice or not nice person. It was just like, and also too, you're not really saying what you want. See, you like me.
Yeah.
And you ain't saying you like me. You trying to make it seem like I need, like, yeah, you like me. Just say you like me. I could deal with that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Way easier to process right now than playing this game with me.
Yeah.
Do you get people coming
so
up?
serious. You like me.
But do you get people coming up to you after shows ever? In that, like, can you understand the vibe of like people coming up to you that are clearly interested in you?
Yeah, all the time.
Really?
That sounds like all the time. But no, literally, like all the time.
How do you handle that?
I mean, I just say thank you and then keep it pushing. You know, they might be like, "Oh, are you really single?" Or it even happens when I'm on stage. Like, I may go I may like ask somebody in the audience, you know, like, "Oh, what do you look for in a girl?" And they're gonna say tall, fun. They're gonna describe red jacket. They're gonna describe exactly what I look like in that moment, and then I'll just make fun of them.
Yeah.
Because it's a comedy show. And then sometimes they'll seriously ask me out after the show. And that's fine too. It's like, shoot your shot.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going to, like this guy in DC, unlike the other guy, I couldn't be mad. Because this is recent.
Yeah.
I couldn't be mad. He said, "Listen, all I could do is tell you that I like you and ask you out. That's all I could do." And this was exactly his hands. Like, he was so much taller than me. He was like, "That's all I could do." And I was just like, "You're absolutely right. That is all you can do."
I appreciate
this
honesty.
Yeah. He's like, "So can I get your number?" I was like, "No." But
I mean, honesty works two ways.
Yeah. Like, I was like, "You can find me on Instagram." And he was like, I haven't been on Instagram in so long. I was like, "Well, how bad do you want to get in contact with me?"
Oh, yeah.
And he said, "Okay." And I got a DM from him on Instagram.
That's amazing. Okay, Zainab, we're at the end of the podcast. What's going on for you this year? What can everyone look for?
I hopefully have a Netflix show coming out, a non-scripted science, like social science show on Netflix.
Yeah.
We wrapped it at the end of last year, and hopefully it'll be released this year.
Amazing.
Yes. I'm shooting a half-hour comedy for Amazon.
That's so cool. When are you shooting?
We shoot in Vancouver we shoot from like the end of February to like mid-May. But I really love the project. I think it's written it's smartly written, and it's extremely hilarious to me.
That's great.
And so I'm excited about it. And I've never been a series regular on
Congrats.
like a TV show. Yeah.
That's so exciting.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
And what else?
Well, you have your own podcast.
I have my own podcast. It's called Honest Tea with Z. Honest Tea, HONESTEA.
Okay.
With Z, which means that some of it is factual, a lot of it isn't. I'm doing shows all over.
Okay. Where can people find you on the road? Do you have a website that they can look at?
Yeah, absolutely. Zainab Johnson is my website, ZAINAB Johnson. In every social media platform, you can find me as Zainab Johnson.
You've done it correctly. So many people do not create the same just social media handle across the board. And congrats.
I just wanted to be Zainab, but there's so many Zainabs in the world. There's so many Zainabs in the world. Yeah, so I had to use Johnson.
Well, this has been super fun. Thank you again for coming off of a Cancun trip and making time for us.
Yeah.
This was awesome. Make sure you guys go check out anywhere across the United States and internationally that you're touring. And oh, wait, I forgot. Everyone that's a guest on the podcast
gets a cookie come into frame.
Everyone gets a personalized fortune cookie for being a guest on the podcast. So you don't have to eat it, but you're welcome to open it.
A personalized meaning somebody put this fortune in specifically for me?
That's exactly correct. Yeah.
Okay. Like, so this fortune should say Zainab on it.
In so many letters, perhaps.
This is personalized. Okay, but drop that skincare routine, please. The people are asking and they deserve to know how you achieve that glow. So this will be the last time I bring her up, but y'all got to talk to my mama because I don't do anything special.
Is she on social media? Where can we follow her?
She's not.
All right.
And she won't even answer the phone most times.
She continues to grow in her mystery and adoration. Thank you so much again for making time.
Thanks.
We'll see you guys next time. Another episode of Not Too Deep. Goodbye.
Too deep, too deep, too deep, not too deep with Grace Helbig.